You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. The mayor of New York City wants to start putting migrants here on the island. Macy Eglin looks at the locations the mayor has picked out and has the governor's reaction to the request.
New York City has a long history, a proud history of embracing immigrants.
Governor Hochul responding to a letter from Mayor Eric Adams requesting the use of state facilities to house thousands of migrants, including 3 locations on Long Island. Gabreski Air National Guard Base in West Hampton, the Pilgrim Psychiatric Center in Brentwood, and the Kings Park Psychiatric Center.
We cannot and will not force other parts of our state to shelter migrants, nor are we going to be asking these migrants to move to other parts of the state against their will.
Governor Hochul called this a federal issue and has sent a letter to the president asking for executive action, requesting 4 specific things.
The borders and decisions about who can work are solely determined by the federal government.
The governor wants expedited work authorization for the more than 100,000 migrants who have come to New York, financial support for housing, school, healthcare, and legal services, the use of more federal facilities to house the migrants, and reimbursement for the costs.
Let them work. Until that happens, we'll continue to need funding and sites from the federal government to help cover the massive expenses of sheltering tens of thousands of people.
State or federal facility aside, people were split on the issue of having migrants in the neighborhood.
I'm all about helping people, but as long as it is, safe for the people that live, within the town.
I don't think the town can handle the population of all those people.
More people equals more of a labor force, more people being able to contribute to the economy, and being functioning members of society is just generally good for the population.
I'm not in favor of it at all.
Why is that?
I don't want any immigrants. They should come over legally, and they shouldn't come over illegally.
We reached out to Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone for his thoughts on Mayor Adams' request and have not heard back. Reporting for Newsday TV, I'm Macy Eglin.
Sheriff Toulon Jr. came to Newsday today for a one-on-one interview about the Gilgo killings case. During the conversation, he described how Rex Heuermann is behaving behind bars.
It's more important for me that Mr. Heuermann has his justice in the courts and not in the jails.
A candid conversation with Suffolk Sheriff Toulon Jr. about the Gilgo killings investigation and suspect Rex Heuermann, who is in custody at the Riverhead Jail.
I have not seen any emotion from him at all. I just wonder what is going on. Is there something that's inside that's brewing?
Heuermann is charged with killing 3 women and dumping their bodies at Gilgo Beach. He's a prime suspect in a 4th case. He pleaded not guilty.
The first couple of days or maybe week, isolated on his bunk, sleeping a lot, looking up at the ceiling, maybe his back against the wall, but laying on the bunk.
Sheriff Toulon said Heuermann is no longer on suicide watch, spends 18 to 19 hours a day in his 60-square-foot cell, including meals. He's allowed outside 1 hour a day for recreation, has access to newspapers, television, and books. He gets mail and is allowed visitors. We're also hearing more about interviews happening at the jail with sex workers to try and gather information about the case. According to the sheriff, so far 2 women have said they've had encounters with Heuermann.
The ones that we've spoken about more describe not only the large size that he is, because he is a very large man, but the aggressive nature of the interaction.
Toulon also made clear that just because Heuermann seems to be acclimating to life behind bars for now, they're still keeping a close watch to protect him from others in the jail and to protect him from himself as his legal case progresses.
The 4 walls of their cell starts to close in. There's not much more that they can do. 3 months ago, he was walking around the streets of New York City.
I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
You can catch the full one-on-one over at Newsday.com. 50 years to life. That's the sentence for a Levittown man convicted of murdering his wife and trying to kill his brother-in-law. The Nassau DA's office says back in 2020, 70-year-old Thomas DiNapoli fired 2 shots from a rifle at his wife during an argument. Her brother was also shot while trying to intervene. The jury deliberated for 1 hour before finding him guilty. And there's a special homecoming for a veteran who spent the last few months on a very special mission. Rob Weisberg got back from hiking the Appalachian Trail to support Paws of War and raise awareness for PTSD. He says on his hikes, he would tell others along the trail about what Paws of War has done for him.
I have PTSD, and I know my classmates have PTSD. If I tell my family I'm having a bad day, they don't really get it. They can't get it. They'll never get it. But if I come to Paws and say I'm having a bad day, I'm surrounded by people who understand and can support me.
Weisberg, who is also a Comac volunteer firefighter, joined the program in 2019. His service dog's name is Chip. All right, here's a look at your Long Island weather, and it was a wet one today, and tonight we have more rain, and tomorrow, you guessed it, it's rain. So let's take a closer look at tomorrow because it's going to be a wet one yet again. You can see temps in the 70s and rain and showers all day long.
Long Island weather is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
Sharks along our shores. I spoke to a Long Islander who was bitten by a shark while surfing. It's a story you'll see only in Newsday. And I do want to warn you, some of the images you're about to see are a bit disturbing.
I could feel my foot down the shark's throat. You know, it was scary.
Peter Bancully describes the moment a shark sank its teeth in while he surfed at Kismet Beach on July 3rd.
My whole foot was in his mouth, so he got around to my ankle, and then I eventually got my foot out, and then it got a little bit of my toes and my calf a little bit on my right leg.
The 15-year-old North Babylon teen says his friend helped him to shore, then called 911.
It was pretty terrifying. By the time I got to him, he was already on oxygen.
Bystanders helped the best they could until first responders arrived. Doctors say the injuries are serious, but can and should heal.
The MRI revealed that he had 3 fractures, a torn Achilles, and torn tendons in his toes.
Peter says he's been surfing since he was 7 and plays football, lacrosse, and wrestling.
Awesome, man.
The worst pain he feels now is not found in his recovery boot, but instead in not being able to practice with his teams or being able to hit the final waves of summer.
I mean, I want to go back and surf and go swimming, but I just gotta wait for a recovery, you know.
While he waits, his mother is thankful to the Good Samaritans who helped her son in some of the most fearful moments of both their lives.
And if he would have bit deeper, he could have bled out. He would have hit the main artery. He is super strong, so brave. I'm so proud of him.
Now to see our entire shark series, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Steve Langford shares how some on the island are preserving AM radio. It's a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Among the stories we're watching, what Long Islanders listen to in their cars has evolved constantly and dramatically.
66 WNBC.
But now in a new world of streaming services and satellite programming, some automakers have decided to give up on the once mighty AM radio dial.
No radio survives without a car radio.
Electric vehicle manufacturers like Tesla have stopped including AM radio tuners in their cars, citing electromagnetic interference.
I own 2 AM radio stations. They both do very well.
Whether it was in the car or on one of these transistor radios, it is impossible to overstate just how much AM radio is a vital part of the soul of American music, sports, news, talk, and politics. But the future of AM? My kids wouldn't know AM radio from ham radio.
Long Island en vivo, representando a los latinos con información de...
Ana Maria Caraballo is leading the team launching a new Spanish-language AM/FM news talk radio combo for Long Island, set to debut in September.
When you're looking for information and you're getting in your car, Sometimes you just want to know what's going on this weekend.
Station group owner John Caracciolo says AM radio in Spanish or English will not only survive but thrive if programmers invest in good, compelling radio. And he says Tesla's claims of AM radio interference on electric vehicles are nothing but noise.
You know, Elon Musk can send SpaceX to the moon, to Mars. I'm confident he's smart enough to get the noise out of the AM radio.
Bruce Tria, general manager of WRIV, an AM radio station in Riverhead, says it's all about what you offer to the listening public, not what platform you deliver it on.
In 1950, radio was dead because of this thing called television. And, you know, here it is, 70 years later, radio's not dead.
Hi, everybody. It's your cousin Brucey.
A radio legend like Bruce Morrow might be content to sit on his laurels. He did, after all, introduce the Beatles at Shea Stadium in 1965. And now in his mid-80s, he's as bullish as ever on the power of AM radio.
Future? I don't have a doubt. I know that all mass media will find its own, shall we say, depth, and it's very viable.
And the beat goes on. Steve Langford for Newsday TV.
Now, to read more about AM radio, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More on the Newsday TV video box.
What's Up on Long Island is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
All right, here's what's up on Long Island. The Scottish Festival and Highland Games are back. There's live music as well as a caber toss. It's Saturday at Old Westbury Gardens. Or go see Slightly Stupid and Sublime as they continue their summer 2023 tour. It's at the Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater Saturday. Why not head out to the Sumac Peruvian Food Festival? It features food from award-winning chefs from Peru and musical performances. It's Saturday and Sunday at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City. For admission info and more events, just click Get More on the Newsday TV video box.
Newsday brings you the latest on the Gilgo Beach killings with Suffolk County Sheriff Errol Toulon Jr. Learn about the suspect's life behind bars and where the case goes from here. A conversation with Errol Toulon Jr. Now available at Newsday.com.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you now with a look at your 7-day forecast.